The Thursday, August 8th, 2019 regular meeting of the Brisbane Planning Commission will now come to order. May I have roll call, please?
Commissioner Gomez.
Here.
Commissioner Gooding.
Here.
Commissioner Mackin.
Here.
Commissioner Patel.
Here.
Commissioner Saison.
Here. Adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda, please?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consent calendar. Is there anyone who would like to remove an item from the consent calendar? I see no one. May I have a motion to adopt, please?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oral communications. Is there anyone who would like to address the commission about an item that's not on tonight's agenda? I see no one. I'll turn to written communications. And we have publication here, Bay Area Monitor, from the League of Women Voters of the Bay Area. Is the August and September edition. New business. Tonight we have a public hearing. It is regarding conditional use permit UP-5-19, 249 Visitation Avenue, NCRO-2, Downtown Brisbane Neighborhood Commercial District. The applicant is seeking a conditional use permit for night operations to extend the hours of operation of the existing Midtown Market retail grocery from 10 p.m. until midnight. Harman Shahal is the applicant, and Young Dae Chu and Young Suk Chu are the owners. Staff, may we have a report?
Yes, thank you. Midtown Market requests a conditional use permit to conduct night operations after 10 p.m. for retail sales. Midtown is a neighborhood serving grocery store of approximately 4,500 square feet and is currently open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. The requested use permit would extend their closing time to 12 midnight each day. As a retail store in this neighborhood commercial district, the use is permitted by right and has been operating there for many years. However, the municipal code requires a night operations use permit for any use after 10 p.m. or before 5 a.m. The ownership of Midtown has indicated that they would like to offer these extended hours as a convenience or service to the community. And this shows the night scene, of course, with Midtown on the right-hand side. Certain findings are required for the Commission's approval of a night operations permit. These were discussed in the agenda report, so I won't repeat all of that. In brief, they include the usual 2 use permit findings plus an additional finding that's specific to night operations. The night operations finding addresses whether the use would result in noise or glare or other effects that would likely create a sleep disturbance to the neighbors. The application would meet all 3 of the findings as detailed in the agenda report. The applicant has estimated that the use would have approximately 10 to 15 customer visits between the hours of 10 p.m. at midnight, and that's kind of a estimate, of course, on average. For verification, staff observed customers coming and going during the last half hour of operation between 9:30 and 10 p.m. on a recent Friday, Saturday, and Monday. That was just a couple weeks ago, and found the customer visit rate at approximately 14 to 18 customers per hour. That rate would be expected to tail off a bit in the later evening hours, so the number of customers in the late evening hours would be expected to be fairly low. During staff's observation times, the majority of customers arrived as walk-ups versus driving, although this would be expected to change seasonally. I would expect the wintertime would be a bit more driving there. Additionally, store visits tended to be just 2 or 3 minutes, so generally only a couple customers were in the store at a time during these hours. Lighting from the store was observed to be consistent with the ambient lighting along Visitation Avenue. Again, that's the scene there. Given the nature of the store as a neighborhood commercial, neighborhood serving grocery store with relatively small size and a localized draw, the application meets the findings for approval. There is a precedent I should mention for approval of night operations, and that was highlighted in the staff report. Mamma Mia, which is located a couple blocks down at 35 Visitation Avenue, was approved by the commission to operate until 2 a.m. starting in 2013. That permit allows for indoor dining, takeout orders, and delivery, and no complaints have been received from Mamma Mia since that night operations began. Finally, this application was routed to the city's public works, fire, building, and police departments, and no concerns were raised. Also, staff contacted the California Department of Alcoholic Beverages Control, or ABC, and they indicated that Midtown Market's ABC license does not restrict sales to time of day, so they do not have concerns with the proposed extension of hours either. And the applicant has provided some notes of support that you saw in your staff report. We've received no other correspondence since then. And in closing, staff recommends the approval of conditional use permit UP 519, the adoption of the resolution containing the findings and conditions.
Thank you. Anyone have questions for staff? Commissioner Mackin?
Okay, I'm going to be the guinea pig to ask. The dimmer, that's a condition. I assume you're not requiring them to install that.
Let me double check my conditions of approval, actually. Bear with me just a second.
It says included to provide for dimming of lights if necessary. And back in the resolution, it says require dimming of lights in the evening hours should that become an issue. So it sounds like you're not requiring the installation of the dimmer. That's what I'm looking for clarification. And I'm also then asking, is that something you're considering would have to be complaint driven?
I would say that it would be complaint driven and also verified by staff that it's a legitimate complaint, and I haven't seen that lighting as an issue, so I wouldn't expect we'd actually have to invoke this. But I didn't. Right. Yeah, it was a voluntary offer from the applicant as well.
Okay. So they're not being required to install it. I was just concerned they not be required to install it if it may not be necessary.
I'd agree with that. Okay. We didn't include that as a condition, but it's, I think, implicit essentially that if it comes up, they will have to install it and go from there.
That's reasonable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, no questions. We will now open the public hearing. Would the applicant like to come up and speak?
I'm here for any concerns, any questions. I'm here to address those.
Okay. Does anyone have questions for the applicant?
And you are?
My name is Harman Chahal. I'm the owner of Midtown Market.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions?
If I could just make a comment, knowing that this was on the agenda and people will sometimes mention things to me, and all I heard was a lot of compliments to you on the way you've actually improved the store. The other comment that I heard, which is a testament to you, is that people appreciated late at night. There weren't people loitering out front. That was a change. They felt safer. They liked it, just the way you're operating the business. So that's a testament to what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no other questions. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? I see no one. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any discussions? Or do we pretty much know what we're going to do here?
I would move that we grant the permit.
One quick question, and I should have asked it of the staff during the right time. But were any of the signatures in favor, were any of them from, the only concern I have at all is any impact from the light to the residential places right across the street. And it looked from the numbers, and the address numbers, like maybe a couple of them were from across the street. Has there been any sign of any problems or complaints or demurs from folks right across?
I have not heard of any complaints. I didn't actually study all the addresses, so I'm not sure how many were, say, customers versus neighbors. But
Yeah, there were
yeah,
about half a dozen that had either 200 or 300 numbers on visitation. So
Mhm.
that sounds like folks up and down the block that were all yes rather than no's. So, okay, thanks.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, the community, I think, there's been no objections, so I think, you know, the townspeople support it. So, so we have a motion to approve the conditional use permit. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
just to clarify, who was the motion
Oh,
from?
Commissioner Mackin.
Okay.
Okay, next item on the agenda. Oh, let me read the appeals process. Anyone may appeal the action of the Planning Commission to the City Council, except where specified otherwise. Appeals shall be filed with the city clerk not later than 15 calendar days following the Commission's decision. Exceptions to the 15-day filing period include use permits, which shall be filed with the city clerk within 6 calendar days of the Commission's action. Items initiated by staff.
I just have a few quick items. One is I'm pleased to announce that Julia Ayers has been promoted to senior planner, associate position, well deserved, and really happy to have Julia with the department, and watching her career advance is really good for everybody. So we're really pleased with that. Let's see, UPC has doing another on their Baylands workshops on the last Thursday in August, which I believe is the 29th. I think that'll be a 7th. I'm not sure of the time precisely. I'm sure they'll be doing some outreach and promotion of that. I'm sure it'll be an evening. I don't know if it's 6:30 or 7. Let's see. Julia's been working on setting up that short-term rental stakeholder meeting with Commissioner Patel in attendance, and I know you may have seen there was a little survey that was on the website, the city's website, about, you know, gauging community reaction to short-term rentals, and that'll be, you know, available both at the meeting as well as at any future Planning Commission hearings or workshops you have on the topic. So that will be shared with everybody. And I know Julie's been working on scheduling of the field trip to the cannabis retail, looking at September being a much more likely sort of opportunity for everybody. So she'll work with you on dates, and we'll see where that leads us. And lastly, I have a correction to your agenda, item J. As of this moment, we have no items scheduled for August 22nd, so we would recommend when you take that action, you adjourn to the regular meeting of September 12th. That's all I have.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Items initiated by the Commission. Okay, we have none. So may I have a motion to adjourn to our next meeting of September 12th?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.